those Christian evangelists must not be embracing Deepak Chopra like they...
No, but I think I will make sure that whatever I say in this book is documented, whether it's about the apocryphal Gospels or the Gospel of Thomas or the missing 16
But are you making
years.
enemies these days? You've taken on George Bush. You're very open about your opposition to him. You're now taking on organized religion. I mean, for someone who's talking about...
Taking on, I'm expressing... You know, what's that? Rumi has a poem, he says, I want to sing like birds sing, not worrying who listens or what they think. And in the autumn of my life, I think I can sing my song and not worry. I'm not taking on anybody. You know, I think that in the spirit of tolerance, we're all kind of, you know, we're probably all totally ignorant anyway. You know, the mystery is too big.
Well, if you think Deepak Chopra was hard on organized religion, just wait until you hear what he says about modern-day science. That's coming up when we return.
I think fundamentalists in science are even more dangerous than fundamentalists in religion.
Hottype.
Welcome back to Hottype and our conversation with Deepak Chopra about his new book, Life After Death, and his attempt to prove it really exists. There's a chapter in the book called The Burden of Proof. And you write that the burden of proof has shifted from scientists back to the believer.
Right.
Can you prove to the scientist, to anybody, that there is life after death?
Depends on how you define life. Okay, if life is consciousness, and if consciousness is non-local, which means it doesn't exist in space and time, then it's eternal. Okay, then birth and death are parentheses in eternity.
We create our internal and external reality.
Chopra's spiritual definitions of life and death have been under attack by scientists like Richard Dawkins. Dawkins recently appeared on the cover of Time magazine, arguing that scientific progress has made the blind belief in God and in spiritual theories like Deepak Chopra's irrelevant. But Chopra has an answer to them. He turns the table, arguing that Dawkins, like so many other Western scientists, are the blind believers in science.
Dawkins is a scientist who's frozen in an obsolete worldview. He's a materialist, a reductionist, a mechanist who is really a fundamentalist. And I think fundamentalists in science are even more dangerous than fundamentalists in religion because they put the veneer of respectability. You know, I'm the Oxford professor, after all, and I wrote The Selfish Gene, and I have all these rational explanations. Isn't your rationality also an activity of the universe? Where, you know, is Dawkins is a product of a gene to understand a gene? You know, I would say to Dawkins, explain to me where is insight, where is intuition, where is inspiration, where is creativity, where is meaning, where is purpose, where is love, where is compassion. If Dawkins thinks I'm a quack or, you know, that thin line of psychotics, or that's all right. You know, it's not even important right now. What is important right now is how can we heal the rift that exists between everybody, you know, whether it's in religion or science or whatever.
So you're not, how do you describe yourself now?
I describe myself as, in the autumn of my life, as preparing for, you know, becoming a non-person once again, as giving attention to things that matter. If you say, are you attached to anything at this moment? I would say yes to my two grandchildren, 4.5 years and 2.5 years. It's the only real attachment.
But you have attachments. You like the good life, the nice glasses, the nice clothes. I mean, we all like the good life, don't you?
I don't have a very luxurious life. I don't live in a fancy house or have a private plane or, you know, have a 2-bedroom apartment in New York. I don't apologize for the success I've had.
Chopra may not apologize for his enormous success, but he certainly doesn't shun commercial pursuits either. He's a millionaire many times over from his more than 45 books and audio tapes that he sold. And this month, he even appears alongside his son in a holiday ad for The Gap.
I do not buy anything unless I can give away something. So if I want to buy a new pair of shoes tomorrow, I will make sure somebody else is wearing these shoes. You know, so in my own personal life, I'm becoming a minimalist. I don't drive a car anymore, but we're moving to Manhattan so I can walk.
So and you still get up in the morning at 4:30?
4:30, yeah, 5.
You still meditate?
Yeah, yeah. It's just silence, basically.
Just silence?
Just silence. I also meditate on death. You know, I meditate on watching my cremation, watching my body disappear.
You do?
Yeah, because it's a very interesting thing. No matter how hard you try to get rid of the observer in the process, you can't.
You can't.
You know, the observer is always there.
Don't you want to stay around forever for your grandchildren?
You know, they'll grow up, they'll become old, and they'll die. And it's such a artificial thing to crave permanence. Because if there was permanence, and we did succeed in conquering physical death, we would all be living mummies in a fossilized universe.
I agree, but you want to protect those you love from suffering, so who would you like to pass first? You or your wife? In other words, that question, would you like...
I'd like to pass first.
You would?
Yeah. I never thought of that, but I would, yeah.
And she would be okay?
Yeah. Well, no, we are very mature. We've been married 35, 36 years. Very mature. Love, I realized, is not a sentiment or an emotion. Love is a much deeper truth at the heart of creation.
It's always great to speak with you.
Really, it's great to speak to you, too.
Thanks a lot.
And I'll see you.
You know, there are few people I enjoy speaking with as much as Deepak Chopra because he's so candid and refreshing when it comes to sensitive issues about religion, science, and in his new book, Life After Death. Now, this book doesn't so much take on Judeo-Christian understandings of mortality as it does reroute around them and offer not only an Eastern view, but an Eastern view that he believes jibes well with new scientific studies. Like everything Chopra does, this book is very positive, very affirmative, and while it may not convince you to change your own philosophic or religious beliefs, it does offer a very unique perspective. One thing I will say, this is heavier reading than you might imagine. This is not some light New Age text. Life After Death, The Burden of Proof by Deepak Chopra is published by Harmony Books. Like everything about Chopra, I'd recommend you pick it up. And we'd love to hear your thoughts on this interview or any of our shows. Go to our website at cbc.ca/hottype and post a comment on our discussion thread. Now, after a conversation like that, I got a lot of thinking to do. So for now, I'm Evan Solomon, and I'll see you again on Hottype.